Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Weekend Winners in association with BetVictor. This is your go-to show for your best bets ahead of the weekend. And on this week's show, we are previewing Newbury's Lockinge Day on Saturday. And I'm going to be previewing these races in my usual company of Declan Ricks and Sam Boswell. Sam, you have been all around the country. Are you actually staying put for 5 minutes?
No, Newbury later this afternoon and then Newbury tomorrow. Big day for BetVictor, sponsoring London Cup's my personal highlight, which we'll be talking about a bit later on. But yeah, good week up at York. Soul Sister, very interesting potential. Oaks, Philly, 7-2 now with ourselves. And I must give a big shout out to Wayne, who came up and said hello and said he loves the show. So fair play, Wayne. And he had a winner as well with the Foxes. So he was a very happy boy.
Oh, very well done. And thank you very much, Wayne, as well, for thank you for tuning in and for the compliments. Declan, I mean, Sam's dressed very smartly because he's off to Newbury. What is your excuse? Why are you dressed so smart?
I don't know. Am I dressed smart? But you're asking me how I am. I want to know how you are, and more particularly how your back is.
My back?
Yeah, after carrying the show last week with your big prize winner.
I did have a fear for a second where this was going.
No, children watch this show, so I had to be careful. But well done on your big prize winner.
Big.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I know.
Made a show of us, but you know, as they say, you're only as good as your last tip or whatever. So
exactly, yeah. And I was clinging on to the end of a jump season. That's probably why. So it was good that I came good for the jump season right at the end. But we will be talking all things flat though on this week's show. But before we get into the action, a reminder to please do gamble responsibly. That our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will still do our best to point you in the right direction anyway. And do also remember to like and subscribe to the At The Races YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. Now we are beginning at Newbury with their opening contest. This is the 150, the listed BetVictor Carnarvon Stakes for 3-year-olds over 6 furlongs, where Noble Style is a hot favourite to take this race, but an each way price about the remainder though, Declan. So how are you playing this one?
Yeah, look, I think the race, as the market suggests, completely revolves around Noble Style. He ran well in the Guineas, I thought, considering he didn't stay in the ground. Was probably too soft for him to get the trip as well. But I just, you know, he's backing up 14 days later off a heavy ground run where he didn't stay. I probably think I want to take him on. I suspect maybe Charlie Appleby and the team were probably trying to calm him down to try and get the trip in the Guineas over the winter, and you know, it just didn't work. He does look a sprinter, but at even money, look, I think he is the one to beat. He's comfortably the best horse, but I want to take him on. I think if you take him out of the equation here, it's a much more kind of open betting race, and I want to take on Aesop's Fables. He looked a potential star in the Futurity last year, but hasn't gone on. Shaquille was very impressive at Newmarket the last day, but backs up quickly on different ground, and Rabat needs to improve. I thought Desert Cop was interesting. He won on All-Weather Finals Day, beating Should Have Been a Ring and the XO form, which has been franked. But on his turf debut, he didn't run well the last time at Ascot, but he was a big drifter late. I just think a trainer of Andrew Balding's quality, that he's willing to back him up relatively quickly, is interesting here. Maybe he just had an off day at the office. The market seemed to know he wasn't going to run his race, and he didn't. I've gone through his pedigree and how he moves. I cannot see why he wouldn't handle turf. So at a little bit of a flyer, I think maybe Desert Cop without the favourite is the way to go.
And without, like I say, he's a fair enough price anyway, but without the favourite, he still is going to be a fair enough price. So Declan, looking away from the head of the market, Sam, how are you playing it?
I cannot get away from the favourite, unfortunately, for a boring selection, but I thought he'd be a little bit shorter potentially. And I know people will perhaps point the turnaround. It is quite quick, but I don't think that run in the Guineas has done too much damage to him. And it did show that I think going through the form, we're going to get some better ground at Newbury. I know there are some showers about, but it's dried out significantly over the last 2 weeks there. And I think it'll be perfect for him as conditions. Back at 6. Pace-wise, I thought it was interesting. I actually thought Declan's horse could be potentially one of the hares in the race, if you like, and give the favourite something to aim at. But I'd be relatively confident in his chances. And I think around even money, it'll be probably a shorter price come the day, and I think it'll be a good thing.
Yeah, and I, again, am in total agreement because, like I say, I know it's a really unoriginal way to start this, and at least Tech's given us a different angle with taking the favourite out of things. But, yeah, hopefully using Tech Selection as a pacemaker, though. Noble Style should just take... I think he's a proper Group 1 horse, isn't he? He showed that last year when he was so impressive. And, like I say, in the Guineas, I mean, he still did best of the Godolphin and the Ballydoyle horses in finishing 6th, where the ground went against him. He didn't get the mile then either, so dropping back down running trip. He's going to be a Commonwealth Cup horse. I think he's about 5-1 at present for the Commonwealth Cup anyway. He may well shorten up on the back of this, but I just think this drop down in grade is going to see him to optimal effect, like say, with better ground as well. So Noble Style for the pair of us. So just to reiterate.
It's going to be Desert Cup without Noble Style for me. So I'm very happy to finish second to you guys, and then everybody's a winner.
Everyone's a winner. Again, do let us know your own selection in the comment section below. But Sam, you have something for us though with this race.
Yeah, a big weekend for Bet Victor. So we've got a big offer exclusive on the ATR app and site. You'll be able to find it. Bet 10, get 40. Plenty of bonuses for horse racing that can be utilised on there. Terms and conditions as ever do apply. But yeah, loads to look forward to. Big weekend for us. And I'm looking forward to previewing the next race that we sponsor.
I know you. Yeah, I know you. You're putting your sponsorship in the right places on Saturday, aren't you? So we do like to see that a lot. Now, up next, we have the 225 at Newbury. This is the Group 3 Al Rayyan Stakes, 4-year-olds and over a mile 4. And it's another Charlie Appleby and William Buick horse at the head of the market in Yabir. So, Sam, is it going to be a good day for the boys in blue, or how are you playing this?
I think it'd be a good day for them, but I don't think Yabir is going to be part of it. At 7-4, I can kind of just let him slide. A little bit of rain around, and his record on good to soft, if it got to that, isn't that strong. I think he's got a huge season ahead of him, but I just there's something nagging at the prices at the moment that I just want to take him on. And Haskoy for me, for Rafe Beckett, a lovely unexposed type in comparison to so many of them in the race. Now we're going to see the footage here where she ended up obviously being demoted, I believe, in the race at Doncaster. But there's so much to like about her chances. I just feel like, you know, a winner on good ground. She's got entry into the Ascot Gold Cup as well, so could well be one for over the slightly longer trips. But today should be no issue, and Rafe Beckett going pretty well, and I know Declan's very keen as well, so I'll let him have a bit of the argument to share.
Yeah, no, I think Sam's kind of wrapped that up well. I would say, kind of from a pace perspective, I think the whole race revolves around what Kemyari does. I think he could be on pace-making duties for Yabir, who can be a little bit gassy. He's got a good record fresh, to be fair to him. I think that looks a good move. We also, earlier in the season, Godolphin had a pacemaker for Adyar. It looked like Highland Avenue. So they're using their resources very well. I hope that's the case, because I wouldn't like a kind of a sit-and-sprint race for Haskoy, because she does stay well. She came an awful long way in a short space of time last year. She only had 3 runs. Like her performance in the Galtra Stakes at York was incredible. She had no right to win that race from where she came from. She ran well in the Ledger then again. I think Frankie probably kicked a little bit soon that day, and she was just running out of petrol late. Last year, and what we saw, she was very likeable, very straightforward, and she's by Golden Horn out of Nathaniel Mayer. I think she's going to be better again this year. The one worry would be she's got a first-time tongue tie on. Just, you know, it's something different you don't like to see. Maybe her wind's been at her, I don't know. Maybe she's just got a little bit sharper, and it's something that I think some trainers use just to maybe kind of help settle horses. But yeah, I do like Haskoy, and just at the prices, it's solely at the prices for me. She's a better bet at the prices than Yabir.
Oh, OK, then. So Haskoy for the pair of you two. And we're going to get a real feel of that Ledger form today, aren't we, as we record then on Friday morning. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that transpires into this season with her then over these trips. But the one who I can't get away from, again, and being very unoriginal, Yabir at the head of the market, again for Charlie Appleby and William Buick. Now, he's a horse where we know he has immense ability, but he was a headbanger back in the day, wasn't he? I mean, they said at home he was an absolute tearaway, and he took an almighty amount of settling. But once that they have got him settled now, when he is ridden in rear and ridden then to pick up the pace, where he has got that turn of foot that he can just use to devastating effect, I really think he is just the most talented horse by a long way then in this Group 3 contest. I mean, the last time we saw him, he was winning a Group 2. That was near enough 11 months ago, so that's going to be a negative then for him, obviously coming here with potentially bigger fish to fry down in the season. But he's a Breeders' Cup Turf winner, as we were just seeing there in the video. So hopefully he will be able to pick this up anyway, because he is just simply the best and the proven horse in the race, and hopefully his own stablemate Kamari will give him a nice toe into the race. So I'd probably be playing that forecast, to be honest with you, with the Godolphin Blue forecast. But they are our selections then for that Group 3 contest. Do let us know your own selections again in the comments section below. Now we're going to move on to a proper betting heat now. This is at 3 o'clock at Newbury. This is the Bet Victor London Gold Cup, a heritage handicap for 3-year-olds over 10 furlongs. Desert Hero is your current market leader at 18-5. Royal Ryman there next at 5-1. Then it's an each-way price about the remainder of the field. So Declan, who are you siding with?
Yeah, a typically competitive London Gold Cup. I came down on Exoplanet in the end in what is a very competitive race. Won his maiden here last season when still very green, and then he went to the Autumn Stakes. It was very interesting. I thought before his maiden here and then ahead of the Autumn Stakes, he was very well backed. I think he went off 5-1 for that Group 2. Suggested that even maybe starting this season he could have been a horse on the Derby trail, but they've gone down the handicap route. I liked his comeback behind Military Order over this course and distance. Chess Piece, I think, was back in third. He franked the form yesterday at York. Military Order's obviously gone on to win the Lingfield Derby trial. He's just a very likeable horse. He's by Sea the Stars out of a Chammerdal mare. Moves very well. His pedigree and how he moves suggests like he's going to be even better on this ground. And as well, the distaff side of his pedigree, there's an awful lot of class in there. Legatissimos on the distaff side, Fame and Glory. So he's very well bred, and he's had a run this season. The draw on 16, probably not ideal, but it's interesting looking at the pace. I think all the pace is drawn in single figures. So I think Jack Mitchell can bounce him out early, maybe get into a tracking leader's mid-div position and slot in fairly quickly from the wide draw. So yeah, I do like Exoplanet with the form being heavily boosted in the last 7 days.
Yeah, so form boost and to overcome the wider draw then for Exoplanet for Declan. Sam, how are you playing this?
Bertinelli for me. Aidan O'Brien, I had to go back through quite a few renewals. I couldn't really find any in recent history runners in the race, and I think it's really interesting off a mark of 99 that they come here. His form could look even better. If you go back to Chester last week, Alder had the chance to boost that, and I think if Gavin Ryan had that ride again, he probably would have done things differently. And not just that form, you look at the debut run, he got beaten by a stablemate who's gone on to win a listed race this season already. And I just thought it was very curious that they're running here. I thought 7-1 was a very fair price. In an open betting heat, Desert Hero for me has got too many quirks on paper, I think, to want to be taking a short price. And I just felt he was a bit of a value play. And I felt like definitely if it stays dry as well by Justify, I think he could really make up into a very nice horse this season, albeit maybe not quite top class. But this race has a habit of throwing up some brilliant winners. You go back through the years, Al Kazim, I really like it, and I think we've got a great renewal here. But Bertinelli for me is going to be the play at an each way price at 7-1, I suppose.
Yeah, to be fair, that was an each-way price for me. As I said, 11-2 and upwards, I'm thinking each-way plays though, but 7-1 then for you for an each-way play. I think we're all going for the each-way angle in here, taking on the favourite though, because I'm with Mr. Mistopheles, who is at a fair enough price as well here. He's a lightly raced horse, and with just the 4 starts to his name. And yes, he was a surprise winner on his third outing of that Kempton Novice. But with hindsight, that was probably a big price at 33-1 anyway, when you went back to his previous start. And he was an eye-catcher. So I don't think there was much fluke about that anyway. And he just looked like he would get further than the 1 mile trip on that occasion. He didn't get that trip on his reappearance when again over the mile. But that was in the Group 3 Craven. And it was quite a notable intent by Connections to even cite in that race. And he wasn't disgraced either when finishing 6th there. That was a career best from him, and he'll be far happier in a handicap, you would have thought. Anyway, so Mr. Mistopheles, each way for me. Sam?
Bertinelli for me.
Exoplanet for me, please.
Right, there are 3 selections for you. All, to be fair, available at feasible prices, though, in what is a wide open betting heat anyway. Now, our final race that we're going to be looking at from Newbury is the big one. We've saved the best till last. This is the Group 1 Lockinge for 4-year-olds and over a mile. No Inspiral, unfortunately. She was ruled out earlier on in the week, citing the fact that she hadn't come in her coat yet as a reason for her absence, which has meant that Modern Games is the 11-4 market leader. So Sam, who wins this Group 1?
Well, I think we might even have a wrong favourite here. For my money, My Prospero is a massive price at 9-2. When we opened betting on this, I think we were 6-1, and a couple of people seem to get stuck in early doors. I can completely see why. typical William Haggas horse and the way that he's brought this horse along, and I really am a massive fan. And you go back to Ascot last year, Champions Day just gone, and obviously Baybridge and Adelaide finishing ahead of him and beating Baid, and you know that was a really impressive run for a horse that wasn't as battle hardened as others in that particular race. And I just think, I know it's the first start of the season and potentially some of his have needed the run, but won on reappearance last year with no real issues. This is obviously a deeper contest than he would have contested, but I really like him. And I think that long straight at Newbury definitely plays to his strength. A course winner, which is I think what you want in this race from memory, looking at the trends as well. So yeah, he's going to be my pick, and I really think the price is just too big.
You're not concerned about the trip, no?
It's interesting, isn't it? But if the rain gets in a little bit, that's only going to help. Obviously, twice a winner at a mile probably will be seen to best effect over that 1 mile 2, 1 mile 4 maybe. But no, I'm quite happy, I think, Kate, to take that risk at 9-2.
I thought I'd just tee it up and see how you responded. You responded very well, so well done, and a good pace probably to aim at then over this mile trip. So my Prospero then for Sam Deck. Who are you siding with?
Yeah, we shouldn't forget this is it's the 20-year renewal. Since
here we go. I actually forgot about this.
Since Hawkwing won the Lockinge, you know, and still Aidan O'Brien's best horse to this day, by the way. But it would be lovely to back the winner of the Lockinge on Hawkwing's 20th anniversary. I think Modern Games is the one for me. He's a really likeable horse. He put together an incredible CV last year. Won the French Guineas, won the Woodbine Mile, won the Breeders' Cup Mile. He was second to Baid in the Sussex. You know, he had a seriously good year. He's a really likeable horse. Look, it was a little bit disappointing. He was beaten last time out. I think it was the Maker's Mark Mile at Keeneland, but he just looked very rusty to me. I think he's going to step forward. It was interesting though. Once William Buey got him straightened out on the home bend, he really did fly home late. And time might tell that, you know, he was beaten by a very good horse, an ex-European horse by Memis, who has a decent pedigree. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say I know the American form, but the third that was beaten that day has subsequently come out and won a Grade 1 turf race over in America. He's just a really likeable, straightforward, honest horse with a good constitution. Look, I would say 11-4, 3-1 is definitely as short as I would like to go, but I think the ground is maybe coming coming for him. He really does like to hear his hoofs rattle. You know, Laurel is by Kingman. She's quite low to the ground with a bit of a knee action. She might want a little bit of juice, although she did win on good to farm on debut last year. My Prospero handles all kinds of ground, but I just think he might want rain just to make it more of a kind of a stamina test. And in terms of how the race is going to be run, I don't see an awful lot of pace on here. I think Moostabek, Chindit, they'll go forward, but I think they'll go forward kind of in a sit and sprint manner, so it'll turn out to be a tactical renewal. Modern Games is tactical, versatile tactically, ground versatile as well, and now he's had a run under his belt. I think he's the one to beat, but I would say 3-1 is definitely as short as I'd like to go, but I think he is the most likely winner given conditions look to be coming right for him.
They do, don't they? And again, I'm siding with Modern Games as well, where, like I say, as soon as I saw his price and when this race opened up, I thought, oh, well, Modern Games are at the head of a market. I'll take him on in the Lockinge. But then I really went around the houses with this race subsequently, and I sort of started to go through the field, and then I saw Laurel, as wonderful as she is, I adore her, but she does need to still step up on what she's shown so far, and I think she is mainly here in place of her absent stablemate in Spiral anyway. And then you've got my Prospero, who I do think will be seen to a better effect over 10 furlongs anyway than Mutasabek. He's unlikely to get the uncontested lead in the blinkers that he got last time out that saw him to winning effect, where I think there probably is more pace on in this. I think we slightly differ on that, because Jadumi, one of those pace angles, like say Modern Games, might go forward, but he is very tactically versatile, so I'm hoping that they'll just be sensible with him. Then you've got like Infantry. He wasn't up to the task behind Mutasabek last time out. Chindit won his seasonal debut, as he always does, but I don't want to side with him on his next start in Group 1 company. And so I went around the houses after the rest of them just shouldn't really be good enough. I just came back full circle to Modern Games again, so complicated it and then some. Came back to the 11-4 favourite. Like I say, with all conditions in his favour, again, I just think that he is the best horse, and what is a very muddling Lockinge, though, all in all. So just to reiterate, Modern Games for Deck and I, then Sam?
My Prospero is going to dispel your concerns about the trip under the informed Tom Marquand.
Oh, and just as William Haggas is starting to come good then as well, but with those top performers rather than the middle ground performers, as he said in an interview earlier on this week. Right, they are our selections for the Group 1 Lockinge. Again, do let us know your own picks for the race. Next up, we're going to be heading over to the Skypad, where I'm going to get the lads' best bets for the weekend. Now, it is time for the all-important part, our best bets of the weekend. So our nap, next best and our long shot. Declan, you are up first.
Yes, hoping to do a little bit better than last week's horror show.
No one would have noticed if he hadn't have said.
Yeah, too loud. People noticed. Believe me. My father noticed because I got the text. But anyway, we digress. We've talked about a couple of them already. The nap for me this week is going to be Modern Games in the Lockinge. I would say threes is probably about as short as I'd like to go. I do think it's a more competitive race than that. But look, conditions look to be coming right for him. Trained by a top man in Charlie Appleby, ridden by the champion jockey. Tactically versatile, ground versatile, pace versatile. I just think conditions are going to suit him a lot better than some of those to the head of the market. The next best is going to be One Ease in the next race for the informed Charlie Hills team. This race looks like it's chock full of exposed sorts, older horses and all-weather performers. It looks ripe for a horse with this kind of profile, well-bred 4-year-old that can go well. I hope the likes of Kingdom Come and Bear Force One all go forward and take each other on, so he's got a little bit of pace to run at, but I think he'll go well for the Charlie Hills team. And then the long shot, our friends here at Bet Victor are offering 4 places, so I thought Lucille could sneak into the places here in the Lockinge. He's a very likeable horse. He's a son of Memas, I should say. His distaff side of his pedigree is very quick, but he's a strong stayer at a mile, this guy. He ran very well at this course last season in the Greenham before a luckless run in the 2000 Guineas, and then ran a cracker in the St James's Palace Stakes. Again, he's another one who the ground looks to be coming right for, and I think he'll step forward from his run. And Ryan Moore rides him for the first time. I'm hoping Ryan can eke out an extra maybe 2 or 3 pounds out of him, which could see him run into the places.
40-1 then about Lucille. I half forgot about him in the Lockinge, to be honest with you. So well done for flagging him up. And like I say, 4 places. Very nice of you. Very generous of you, Sam, indeed. But your own best bets, please.
Yeah, let's see if I can be generous and find a winner or two. And much like Dec, I need to improve for last week's efforts. Noble Style's going to be my nap. We've already eulogised about why I think he's going to be a brilliant horse, and I think he'll continue to show that back down in trip, and if we get a little bit of rain, that'll only be of help to him. Next up is Blue Stocking, who are likely to be probably the favourite, I'd say, the 4:45, the listed race at Newbury. This horse for Rafe Beckett, go back and watch the debut run at Salisbury. She did plenty wrong and still won coming away. That was over the mile. Up in trip a little bit today, and you go back through the form of that race and have a little look at the third, which was the horse Racing Breaks Rider, who's since won 4 and is now rated, I think, 97 after the Ascot wing. So Blue Stocking for me, Rafe Beckett does really well with this type of horse, and will probably be favourite, but I think will be a good thing. Now, my long shot, I really struggled to find one at a decent price, but Mutinying for Charlie Hills, Dec's already mentioned his form, 33% strike rate at the moment. This horse finished second at it was Nottingham last time out in softer ground, so if we get a bit of rain, doesn't matter. Nudged up £2 for that. Does have a bit of a nasty habit of finishing second, but I think off a mark of 85 will definitely land one of these nice handicaps. And 8-1, yeah, I just thought it was a good stab at a fair price.
Yeah. Exactly that. And then Noble Style, though, as for nap. And I think that you're probably right to go with a horse like that for your nap, because personally I was really struggling to actually nail down one horse as the nap as such, where, like I say, I know that I'm fancying that sea of blue then at Newbury at the weekend. But the nap is going to have to be Modern Games, though. Same as Declan. I've come down on the side of him in the Lockinge for, hopefully, that will be a very good day for Charlie Appleby and William Buick, because if he's at his best, then he should really be the one to beat over this mile trip. Now, my next best bet comes in the 240 at Newmarket myself, actually. 8-1 about Washington Heights. My next best and my long shot actually come in the same race, which is different of me anyway. But the main play, though, Washington Heights for the informed Kevin Ryan team. Finished second last time out behind Shaquille in a course and distance handicap. Shaquille, of course, going for the listed Carnarvon Stakes on Saturday. That was a likeable bounce back to form from Washington Heights, who had previously been below below himself at Thirst, but he had a poor draw there. That was over 5. He's better at 6, so off of a £1 higher mark than for last time out. That is enough for me to side with Washington Heights. And the Longshot is going to be Brave Nation, as I say, in the same race, but 25 to 1 about him. Same course and distance handicap, finished 7th, beaten 10 lengths. 2 fresh and keen on that occasion on his reappearance. So hopefully that will have taken the edge off him now. Clearly connections have thought enough of this lad, and the ability is there, as he showed last season when finishing 4th in the Norfolk. Given £3 back as well than 4 last time out, which might just see him on a very feasible mark, provided that he doesn't ruin it for himself. So they are all of our best bets in for the weekend. Big thank you to Deck and to Sam for all of their hard work, as per usual. Big thank you to you for watching. Again, do let us know any or all of your selections for Saturday's action in the comments section. Now, if Declan gets to mention Hawkwing, I get to mention my favourite horse, because that is Hewick, who runs in the French Champion Hurdle on Saturday. Forkshark Hanlon. He'll be taking on a Mullins Battalion. It will be a fascinating clash, which you can watch live on Sky Sports Racing. Now, we will be back next week looking ahead to the weekend action, as well as starting our anti-post betting preview for Royal Ascot. So we hope you can join us then.